I sent somebody a message. They posted something that was like, I think it was about a movie, and I responded to it. And then, like a week later, I was actually looking for like a picture or something in another DM, and I seen that one and it said sent, like it hasn't been read yet. And I was like, why the did I message them?
Mm-hmm.
Because like Instagram puts messages from people that you don't know in a separate folder.
Right. I've seen that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're not even gonna be seen ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, why did I do that? Like this is dumb. Like why am I following them?
Yeah. I've seen that list too. I think it's just spam, really.
You know
I
what I'm
guess
saying? It
if
makes
you
you
don't
spam.
interact, yeah, if you don't interact at all, you automatically spam. Even like new followers and new people who just want to say something to you. And yeah, I
But
have to
I,
just be in the mood for that.
I
It's
don't know.
like,
I feel like that stuff. Isn't that like the point of the internet? Like I feel like every time we've been, every time we've been like introduced to like another component of the internet,
mm-hmm,
like the underlying factor or like the underlying like thing that drove everybody there was like the ability to just like interact with people normally. Like think about it. Like
mm-hmm,
Twitter was like I can tweet somebody who lives in a different country or state
mm-hmm,
and like they can respond. I could even tweet a celebrity and they could respond.
mm-hmm.
Instagram the same way. Like and then all of a sudden it just became everybody's famous now.
Yeah, yep, yep. I think, well, for me, it's more so. I don't know. Just it's so many avenues to talk to people now. If you just consider the phone, the text, and then all the social medias, I have to be in a
All the
position
medias.
to want to media today. you know, well, I always want to communicate with people I know, right, or even don't know in some cases, but I don't want to have to feel obligated to. And if I feel obligation in doing it, I don't want to do it.
Nah,
It's
it's different. Yeah,
like the
it's
obligation
definitely different.
of you. Someone may not have gotten back to you quick enough, so now the obligation is that person is going to feel some type of way because you didn't get back to them quick enough. That type of thing. Um,
Is
like
that warranted
I'm
though?
off that.
Is it warranted? Like if I contact you and like it takes you, I don't know, maybe like a week or two to
Mm-hmm.
respond.
Is
Like
that
and all things considered, because like for women, I understand like the most normal versions of communications for them like have barriers of like bullshit.
yeah, I know their communication's all trash.
like,
Just all trash. Just all trash
like the text
communication.
messages are full of bullshit. The DMs are full of bullshit. The
Right.
replies, the mentions.
All of it.
But
All the
like a
content is
week or
bull.
two, like say you contact someone and it takes like a week and a half for them to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying it was something like just super important. It could just be like hey, da 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 da. What about this?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes like a week. Like,
Mm-hmm.
should you not feel some kind of way?
Initially, until you train yourself that they don't owe you anything. They
Then why are
literally
we
don't owe
talking
you
to each
anything.
other?
What they don't owe you. I'm gonna get back to you in a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks or a month. Um, I think it's your own self, your own sense of self importance to be like, this person didn't hit me back today. Yet the next day, a week and a half, and then you get in your own feelings like, man, I thought I was this, I thought I was this person to this, I thought I was this, I thought I was something to this person, that type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, when it's probably not even like that. It's like I didn't get back, or maybe they had some real life things going on in their life that's not on social media. They could have lost a friend, a family. They could be dealing
Hmm.
with with a emotional or psychological thing. It can be anything. Dog could have died, and you like, This bitch ain't hit me back yet.
That's
It's been
happened.
two.
That's
It's
happened
been a week and
before.
a half.
That's happened
Yeah.
before. Like I forgot. I can't remember who it was. It might have been one of Vita's friends, but like somebody else was like, "Oh, we haven't heard from you," and they like just went off like, "My dog died. You guys have no idea," and like all that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn,
And then
dogs
now
matter."
you an asshole.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really be tripping. It's just when you think about it, it's like who is really like that? Like Busta Rhymes said something one day. He was like, he said, if I call or text you and I don't hear back from you, like in a certain time frame, like I know like we don't belong. We don't need to talk to each other
Hmm. Yeah,
because
that could be true too.
if you call me, if you call or text me, I'm gonna answer the phone, or I'll either let you know I'll get back to you, or just get back to you whenever I'm like
Hmm.
done with my current activity. But he was like, why are we playing this game where I hit you and then like 2 months later you hit me back?
Hmm. Well, it depends on who he's talking about too. Like there's like circles of like different relationships. Like
Yeah, but people
uh,
aren't people, and I think that's what he's saying. He's like, and this goes back to like imposing your like your own, you're imposing kind of like you said your own self importance on other people.
hmm.
Like I do this way, so you should do this way.
Right, exactly.
But I think I kind of feel that like if you call me or you can hit me and and I can answer or let you know when I'm gonna answer or when you can expect a response, to just be like, oh well, I'll get back to you whenever I can, is kind of like, then we don't need to know each other. We're obviously not close enough, like as close as I thought.
That's just, I mean, yeah. You thought, I think it should go
Yeah.
this way, and then now I'm gonna make the decision to say, this relationship doesn't need to exist at all.
Hmm.
Like this, the extremes you go to with with making sure that your self importance is insulated from any threat that you feel like doesn't belong. It's like I just think of a now. I want to say, if you're trying to talk to somebody and things are like time sensitive, like come on, like there's deadlines, there's time sensitive things. Like I need to know today. You may be working on the project. It's like, okay, you can't just be like, yeah, I'll get back next month. Um, but things where most people just want to just shoot the shit or just run something by you, or whatever it is. Um, and maybe we got to normalize, like, why are you texting me? Why? What do you need? Like getting right to the point. It's like,
But I
what do
think
you
I think
need?
that can be solved within like communication, and people will kind
Yeah,
of
like
weed themselves out.
I'll text when you can tell when somebody really needs something like specific, because they'll tell you in the text, yo, I'm calling because um, I want to run some numbers by you on this investment or whatever it is. Or sometimes I'll text like, I ain't want shit. I didn't really want shit. Just wanted to catch up. Da, 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 you know, um, you call me back whenever. So but if it's time sensitive, it's like, yo, um, we had plans to go to somewhere, and I'm calling you. You'll be like, yo, I'm on the way, or are you there yet? And it's like no answer. It's like, yo, what the fuck is this? That's like the breakdown of communication. So yeah, but
I mean, some people do that though. Like
I know
it's
I think that's wild though. That's wild. Like no, like no one's no one's at that level. I was gonna
I
say
feel like
like
unless
no one's a celebrity, but even I don't think even it's
I was like,
appropriate
are
for
you really?
celebrities to talk like that or communicate
No,
like that.
I think the only person, I won't say the only person, but there's not that many people where like if someone tries to reach you, it takes like it's expected that it'll take a while if you get any response.
You said what?
I
You said
said
it's not.
it's only a handful of people.
That you can be like, oh, they're not gonna give me back
Yeah,
until like, oh
like
man,
if you and I'm talking about people you know. I'm not talking about like if I try to DM like the president.
right,
Like, like
right.
saying like if you know this person, like there might only be a handful of people where like if you reach out to them for something specific, then it would take you know it would take
Yeah,
some time because I kind of feel like text messages have replaced um like the answer machine.
mm,
So I remember I used
that's
to come home from
interesting.
work. You used to come home from work and then you or from wherever and like your mom would come home
Mm,
and she press play on the machine
yeah,
and then you
after she
hear all the
done doing whatever you do.
messages
Yeah,
and then like a week go by and she's like, oh, I gotta call Ernestine
right,
back. She called.
right.
It's like
She
some
left
stuff like
that
that.
message a week ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
I get that.
Ernestine to follow up and
Yeah,
then now they gotta be like, oh, I was so busy, I meant to,
right.
and
You didn't call me back, and now they on the phone 3 hours catching up over the last 2 weeks.
and so
Right.
I think the message is kind of the way a lot of people use them. I think like it's replaced voicemail or
Yeah.
the answer machine.
But what do you feel about calls? I think calls are more personable. Like
I like
I
calling,
need
but
to
we do that for a living.
I need to speak to you now. You know
We do that for a living, and I didn't realize that was weird until I had to do it.
what was weird?
Like I didn't realize. Well, I won't say weird. I didn't realize how weird other people saw that, like actually
Oh
picking up
yeah,
the phone
yeah,
until I had to do it like for work, and then that kind of seeps into like your regular life. Like
yeah. I'm
you
gonna just
need to
call this
know
person.
something.
Yeah. Like
Exactly.
what am I doing? Why am I texting? Why am I you know Instagram Messenger, whatever it is? Like I like to just call you and be like, yo, this is what I need to say. I mean, it's so easier. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
But I think it's something you got to get used to.
Yeah, because
There's
people
a lot of
are,
people now just they don't want to call.
well, because
It's like a
they're not
bother.
accustomed. I feel like they're not accustomed to like they're not accustomed to like forming thoughts in real time.
Sentences.
Yeah,
Like you said that I got to think on that.
yeah. So they're like,
Like how do I respond? Generation. Like dang, how do I respond to that
yeah,
text?
yeah. That's what
It's
it is.
calculated. Everyone's calculated now.
Because again, if you reach out to them, they'll give you 5 days. Like
Hmm.
they'll easily give you 5 days and be like, oh hey, what's up, blah 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 blah. But if you were to call them, like it'd be totally different. They wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we just got to call more. So, which I got a project in my head. I was telling Will about this when he was over here about calling every single person in my phone just to figure out who they are and if we still got a connection. I got like maybe 1,000 contacts in my phone, and I talked to
Hmm.
maybe eight, maybe five to eight, maybe. So it's like,
Yeah,
what are all these, you know, 990 people doing in my phone?
yeah. I don't even want to know because I've
And
had the
it,
same number since like
I don't
high
want to
school. I don't even want to know how many numbers are in my phone because
know.
it's been the same. I haven't had a chance. Like I haven't had a reason to go through and like delete them.
Yeah, but I want to delete them, but I also want to call first and be like, "Who are you? Yeah. Who are you? And do you need to stay in my phone?" uh,
Yeah, I can see
that
that.
project's been on my head for like 2 years, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to tape it too, and probably make it like a series of me calling people on my phone. Like, hey, who are you? I'm Dorrance. Who are you?
I mean, I
You
guess you would. That'd be efficient though, because then it's like everybody that you have access to is like someone you need to have access to.
exactly. It would be really like closing the circle, but like you said, efficiently. It's like these are all people I
Hmm.
talk to at least a few times a year. It may not be people I talk to once a month or every 6 months, but it might be people I do want to talk to maybe two or three times a year. You know,
Hmm.
and we might work on a project, we might not, but it'll be people I want to be in there. You
Have you
remember?
have
You
you
remember
been
back in the day, you would actually go
hmm
through the scroll of your contacts and hit people up.
Oh yeah, it mattered.
You
It
know, maybe
mattered.
you was having a party or something like, hey, we're gonna have a party on such and such. Come through, or you're trying to put a function together and you call people. That was a thing before social media. Hey, I was going through my phone and just seeing what's up with you. How's everything? Um, what you doing? Then it turns into, oh, we should catch it. We should link up and go do something. Let's go play basketball, or it was like, I don't know, it was a thing.
Well, because there was value. I think there was value in like a person's contact information that no longer exists because we all have it.
You mean
You
value
know,
in the?
in the actual information because the only way they can get to somewhere is if someone who knew them or had their information could let them know.
Hmm.
But now we know about things we didn't even like want to know about because
Yeah,
everybody has our information.
you talking about on social media where it's like,
Yeah, they
hey,
have
this is
access
what's
to you.
going on. So maybe that's why people aren't calling anymore. Oh, I see how you kids are doing because I seen them on social media. They just went to
Hmm.
second grade. I seen you
I
post
think that's
that.
part of it too. Yeah,
I don't have to call them.
like,
I kind of got an update. Like the social
hmm
media is the update. This is what's going on in my life.
is
Don't
the
call me.
update and answer machine.
Don't call me. Don't text me.
Low key, it is like because when you used to say like when you would leave like the note on the machine and it'd be like you've reached so and so blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like social media is kind of like that. Like
Right.
hey, here I am. Here's my kids. They go to school.
Right. You've
I
reached
buy
my
them
page. This is
shoes.
going
Here
on
you
with me.
go.
I got a new
Yeah,
job. I got a divorce. I had a new kid. I got a new baby mama. Uh,
that's true. Damn, I didn't
my
think
baby
about it
mama
like that.
tripping. It's like, oh dang, like his baby mama tripping. I guess I ain't got to call him. I know what's going on. It's like you just like baby mama do be tripping. Got
Yeah, that's
caught up
true.
on your life, and maybe it's just a me
Damn.
thing because I'm not really on. I am on social, but I'm not. Okay, this is what I do when I'm scrolling through. I just want to see the picture. I don't read. Sometimes I don't read the caption.
And we might be the opposite because well, I do look at the picture, but I definitely want to know like I want to know what was said because
I'll read a
sometimes
few sentences.
the captions are funnier than the actual, like unintentionally funny, but they're funnier than the picture.
You got to get me like in the first few sentences. If it go on to a tangent of I don't know, I went to church today and God is good. I'm just like skip. I like the picture. I'm
Just
heavy
swipe
on the
right.
skip. I'm like, really, I'm more so. Do I need to read this whole thing? You know, and it'll be helpful if it was like tweet size,
I mean, it's interesting
like
because like
140 characters or less.
I feel like Facebook is as much as everybody hates it, and I think they hate it because it's like the last like actual social network.
It's the last update on what you're doing.
Yeah, it's the only
Instagram
one where
not an
like
update.
you have to have your name and
Well,
and it's
people
about
changing that
you.
now too. People have fake names on their Facebook.
Yeah, it's true. It's
It'd be
true.
like
Yeah,
Yaya
you're right.
McGee. I'm like, that ain't your name. I'd be like, that is not your name. Your name was Christopher.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's probably why they hate it though, because it can be actually like used for that.
Well, they can track you. So like
Yeah.
all the bullshit you've been going through in the last 15 years, people looking you up and stalking you, or maybe some exes, or maybe you didn't mess up people over and they can find you now. IRS, um,
Yo, that's crazy
child
because they
support, everyone,
they use that.
cops,
They look at
FBI.
they look at that stuff for man, who was I just talking to about that? I was just talking to somebody about that, about how like how all of that is used to like determine, like to give people an idea of who you are. And I was
Yes,
like, even if they're not supposed to, you don't think someone who's gonna do an interview for you or with you took the time to type your name in.
Yeah. Look at all your pictures, see
You know what I'm saying?
how you post, how you write. And yeah, they make up a narrative of who you are based on what you post.
Already.
And it's crazy. It's great. I mean, people will watch this podcast and be like, okay, this person's like this person's like that. And I mean, you can't blame them because that's it's all the data they have.
Yeah.
You know, it's all the data that's available to them, and they make a decision.
And that's
I
why
mean, so
you have to be careful about what you put out there. You know what I'm saying? Because even cold calling, like when I would cold call certain people, and like I knew there was someone like I needed to know,
hmm
or like I had to find like a way in, I would look them up on Facebook.
right, right.
You know what I mean? Like I want to know where you live. I want to know who you associate with. I want to know all this stuff so I can use it to my advantage.
See,
Because if I can,
if you don't think everybody else doing that on the same level,
well, a lot of people
you
aren't,
know,
but for for from in our positions, I don't think many people are because it's so much of a numbers game. It doesn't really pay off to like,
no, I'm not saying like as far as a like professional standpoint. If you're
oh, just in
a
general. Oh yeah,
salesperson, I'm talking about the
absolutely. Yeah,
everyday
yeah, yeah.
person is
Everyday
using that
person,
same tactic to
absolutely.
imagine like you're in the dating world and someone goes to your social to figure out what you like to be like, oh, you
That's what it's there
he likes
for.
the Lakers, you know. Then they show up with a Laker hat, and you're like, what the what is this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I noticed you like the Lakers, or yeah, I noticed you like hiking, and I got you this walking stick. It's like, you better go on with that.
That
Or some people might be
definitely
like,
is a
dang,
thing.
that's so thoughtful that you thought enough to stalk me and see what I like based on what I post.
Well, I don't think it's seen that way because everybody kind of likes the same things. Like if you were to take a sample size of like 100, 100 people, probably 75 people's content would consist of the same thing, which it would be drinks, uh, you know, partying to some degree,
Yeah.
and vacations.
Women like
You know,
I like liquor and flowers and gifts.
and
He's like, oh,
vacations,
okay.
and
And dudes be like, I don't care about none of that.
yeah,
I'm gonna spam your DM with the hard eyes.
yeah. So I mean, that definitely happens though. Like if and honestly, that made me scale back from social media because I was able to see like, yo, somebody could really like it's not hard to find anybody,
Mm-hmm. No,
like anybody,
everything's
and
public now.
yeah, and so if somebody really really wanted to be like in your space, like you can make that happen,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm doing it for work, like if I'm like, oh, he associates with this guy and this guy knows this guy. So if I meet this guy, he'll introduce me to this guy. We could be in the same room together. I could talk to this guy. Like if I'm doing that,
Yeah, imagine like
what is imagine
from
someone who like who's infatuated with
a
me.
relationship
Yeah,
standpoint.
like,
It's like,
you
yo,
know,
I just wanted a Rich by Monday sweater. That's why I figured out where you live and where you
man.
work and where you go. I guess that's why you try not to offend people. Um,
Yeah, that's why I be chilling.
I don't. I
It
don't be
was
joking.
you gotta. I'm saying
I'm
you
not
have
trying to
to.
be offensive to people, but sometimes a good strong off is needed.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing with that. I'm just saying if you're a person who's like if you're a person who's intentionally like you're the catalyst in every situation, like that can be rough for you because like
Like you
it's
starting shit.
yeah because you remember like a
You
long time
trying to be
ago
salacious on purpose.
we were on Facebook having a conversation about like real estate or something. I can't remember,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a guy who commented on my post and he called me Uncle Tom. You remember that?
I think slightly.
and he was from Pasadena,
Hmm.
but
Oh yeah, I do remember. He was like, it was like, you shouldn't talk to people that way because it's easy to know where you live, and
yeah,
people just wildly just saying wild things. I've
yeah,
never been that um um what is it? Not competitive, but I forget.
confrontational
Yeah, confrontational. Like
to
to
that
be like
degree.
on somebody's um post, like this is what I think. You're name calling, that type of thing. You're this. I think this of you, and kiss my ass, and then log off and leave. It's like, nah, you're gonna log off from just telling me that.
And you can't log off in real life. So to
You
fill
can't
the
log off in real
listeners
life.
to fill the listeners in on the story, basically, just to make a long story short, that guy received a phone call because I was able to find his phone number and, and his address and his grandmother's phone number and his mom's. I found his whole family.
Y'all think I'm
So
sick.
yeah, but it's not smart, man, to talk to people like that. you know. So
Yeah, everyone should be polite, and that's it. You
I don't
know.
even think it's that, man. It's just respect, man. You treat people with respect, and then you know, and most things will work out okay. As soon as you start crossing that line with people, then that's where things get a little murky. Cause I mean, one, you never know what somebody's going through. Like sometimes
Hmm.
they may be upset at something totally different,
Yeah.
and they can't manage their emotions that way, and you just end up being the person they take it out on.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
They're gonna let off on you because
yeah,
you're right in front.
but sometimes you just have to center them. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I don't. So what was that conversation like?
It wasn't long, but he was very surprised.
Hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. This goes back to what you just said when calling people. So he had time to sit there and type out how he felt, and he felt good about it because in his mind there's no recourse.
Hmm.
Right? I can be who I want to be, you know, on the internet because it's for everybody to see.
Right.
Um, but in real time, having a conversation, there's stuttering involved.
Hmm.
It's a lot of silence,
Hmm.
like because
Right.
they can't form
Yeah.
the thoughts. You know what I mean? Like they can't,
Right. Right.
and they really can't have that conversation. So the only way they can interact with you is to call you a name because
Hmm.
there's nothing else they can do. Um,
Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, I mean it was hilarious, and nothing bad happened. It's just I think he realized like how vulnerable you can be if you put yourself out there,
Hmm.
and not only yourself, but like everybody else you know.
I think. I mean, yeah, that's true, and
Because it's not
that's
just
that's
about
why
you. You know what I mean?
my whole thoughts on being respectful and being nonviolent is just that, because you don't know what someone's willing to escalate it to, and there's always an
Mm-hmm.
escalation. Always, there's always an escalation to everything, and the escalation never stops. It's unending. So when I'm thinking about things and how I want to respond and how I want to behave, I'm thinking about the full escalation, and I'm thinking about it all the way out, all the way to the end. So it's not just, you don't run up on stage and slap somebody and that's it. It's no. Now you got to worry about how that person feels about it, how they're going to respond to it, how their brother's going to respond, their sister, their parents,
Nah,
mother,
that's a
cousins,
real thing.
and you don't know what their escalation level is. Their escalation level is. It may not be as as um as low as yours. And then what you don't want to do when you're just arbitrarily just being violent is not knowing the other person's escalation and what they're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those videos you see where I think you sent the video and a guy he jumped out with that bat. They on some road rage stuff in the car.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was
They cut
crazy.
him off.
Yeah.
Guy jumps off with a bat and either hits his car or almost hits his car or act like
I
he's gonna
think
hit
he
his
like
car.
yeah. I think he pretended like
Yeah,
a
like
fake
he's
swing
threatening,
or something.
like threatening
Yeah.
type thing. And the guy pulls out a firearm and he escalates to the highest point in that situation, right?
It's not funny, but it's funny.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you just don't know. You don't know what somebody's willing to escalate to. And I think if you think of it that way, you're more so nonviolent. That's the best way to be nonviolent, and not so much a
Hmm.
passive. I don't want to do anything because I'm scared of dying, or I'm scared of what might happen or what might transpire. And my thought, I already know what's going to happen all the way to the end. You know,
Hmm.
the risk of escalating is dying, and or the risk of escalation is winning. You know, and wiping out. I'll just leave it there. That's
Yep.
the full escalation. You know, so that's why
What?
you have to be fully nonviolent, and I think that's the best way to think of it. It's not like then you're not basing things off emotion. I don't like what this person said to me. I don't like this person stepped on my shoe. I don't like how this person responded to me. That type of thing. Until you know what the full escalation is.
Hmm. The interesting thing though is that a lot of that exists like in business. A lot of the um I don't really care about or the dang, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like these guys are just walking like on faith, like on blind faith. Like they don't care about anyone else.
Um, with like
Like they don't care
complete
about your feelings. They don't care
narcissists,
about that. I mean, yeah, that could be a word.
self-serving
Yeah, like
assholes,
they just walk around like you know,
untouchable.
yeah. And
Yeah,
in many ways, they often become that.
yeah.
You know, because that's just I guess is how they carry themselves. But even the guy who just did who well he didn't just do it, but you know who Adam Newman is?
No,
So he
who that?
founded WeWork.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I did see that. I seen that
Yeah.
documentary.
And so you so you saw what kind of person he was. And
Hmm. Yeah, those people that think
and
they're saving the world by whatever project they're working on, changing the
yeah.
world.
And everything he kind of did and bulldozed along the way to destroy the company.
Hmm.
Well, he just got like another $350 million.
Hmm. To do it again, to do something else. I mean, that just lets you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people, they believe in the character. People are really attached to energy. If you can show that energy, show your passion, like people will put like money and their time behind you. one
So I
hundred
mean,
percent
does it at that point does it matter?
is what matter.
Because as much as we're saying, don't be I don't want to say combative, but don't intentionally be, confrontational and all that kind of stuff because of
Mhm.
potential recourse. But does that matter when there's examples of the opposite working?
Yes, I think it always matters because the the end result always happens no matter what. Like some people might skirt it. Like I think of somebody like Trump. He's a very slippery person. He's not. He's been untouchable up to
Yeah.
this point. Um, but you see, if somebody's willing to escalate and have these hearings and put out warrants and follow through with them, and they keep the escalation going, um, there might be an end to that, right?
Hmm.
But I do believe. So let me walk some of that back. I do believe that some people um, they will go through life physically in their physical body and might not have no escalation that's harmful to them.
Hmm.
There's and that's just how it goes. It's like how some people think that like bad things, like there's karma to the bad things you do, or there's some type of end result, or like if you don't get it in this lifetime, maybe the next lifetime, that
Mhm.
type of thing. And I just don't think that's true. I think some people just get away with a lot, and they may come up to us at least as victorious in the bullshit they pulled off. Um, but I think we'll never know. I think we'll never know on their side what they're actually dealing with,
Mhm.
what repercussions that we can't see that they're dealing with. And maybe that's being hopeful. You'd be like, man, this asshole, he skirted everything. Maybe that's someone hoping that something will happen, to remedy the bullshit that people kind of do and get away with unchecked.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting,
Yeah,
especially amongst that crowd. And this is how you know, like, there really is a difference between, like, although people don't see it that way, like, an entity and a person are two different things, and the entity is going to do what it needs to do to survive, even if it isn't like the best decision for, like, people.
are you saying a corporation or brand?
Well, I just said an entity because, but yeah, corporation,
Mm-hmm.
because for reasons related to the corporation, it might be smart to give him $300 million,
Mm-hmm.
but the effect it'll have on people may not be great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure there's, like, all kinds of stipulations involved in that, from because he was pretty crazy. But sometimes, like, I think you just have to. That's why these things happen. Like, someone says, "Oh, why would that happen? Why would they do that? Why would they allow this?" Well, it's beneficial for, you know for the entity.
Mm-hmm. Now that's
You know.
interesting. If you talk about someone's physical life and if they're going to get any repercussions for what they do, but then you talk about corporation, it doesn't have physical life. It can go on forever.
Yeah.
Will it ever have repercussions? And and I would say it won't have repercussions uh, that will uh, any repercussions that will warrant what they actually did. So, for example, a corporation who's been in business 150 years, they might do some bullshit and say, "All right, well, we'll give you 20 million for what we did," when they made, you know, 500 million in profits off of
Mhm.
doing that bullshit. So it's like the repercussion doesn't kind of match, the crime. So
Mhm.
in essence, don't um they still don't they still don't
Like, it don't add up.
yeah they still don't whatever. My brain is it just cut off.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a clip. I'm gonna make a whole clip of all the times that we just got to a point where you was like, I don't know. I'm
Right.
gonna, I'm gonna
It
make
was
a
like
whole clip, bro. This is gonna be like 2 minutes
and
of
he
you
starts
just being
saying
like, I
and
don't
period.
know.
And done what I was saying. Sentence complete.
um, I don't know. I think once you get to a certain point, it is hard to it is hard for a company of a certain size to, like, to feel the repercussions of something they've done, like, in a way that's, like,
It's
either equal
damaging.
or,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's actually
they'd have to do
damaging to that
something
company.
they'd have to do something really, really extreme. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's they're too large.
I mean, but
I mean,
do
I,
do
I
people
feel the
really
same
want
way
to
about
destroy? Like, do they really
some
want
people
to
do.
destroy the company, or
Yeah,
do they
some a lot of
really
people
just
do.
want a payoff? Like, give me the money for, because really the money is useful in pushing my narrative of what I need rather than just you disappearing.
And you just
In some
described
cases,
politicians.
yeah, it's like you shouldn't say that, and you shouldn't disappear, but you should pay me for what you
Yeah.
said that I didn't like.
Hmm.
And now I can literally benefit from you saying the wrong thing
That's why it's all the same.
monetarily and use it for my cause.
Hmm.
You know.
No, 100%. I think the that's why I really don't care about how people feel about certain things, because if you feel like you could feel some way about it right now, but if somebody dropped $5 million in your lap, you'd feel a lot differently.
The convictions are a little different.
It's a little different.
I'm not
You
gonna
could talk
stand in that
about
conviction for too long if you give me
you could
five
talk about
million.
all the money that needs to go to here and do that and blah blah blah, and then somebody dumps 5 million in your lap, and all of a sudden your morals change
Mm-hmm.
and your lifestyle changes because you realize $5 million is enough to get me away from all the things I said I was trying to fix, but it's not enough to carry me to the next level of where I would really like to be.
Yeah, well, that's
And
why you need real, true, like you talk about social justice warriors, people who aren't going to be just paid off. That's a strong person though. It says, I'm going to take the money that you get. It's still not enough, but it'll be enough to
yeah,
push my
but you
cause a
can't.
little bit further.
I feel like you can't take the money if you
It's not,
truly
it's,
believe. If you truly believe, because think about it, right? It's like the think about it from like the perspective of music. So we know guys or just artists in general who care about the art,
mm-hmm.
right? Those people will always be broke. That's
Because
just the
they don't
reality.
want to sell out.
Yeah, because they're in it for the benefit of the art,
Mm-hmm.
but but the music is to be consumed. So the artist who understands making the art doesn't necessarily mean I have to make art my way. I have to make art that's consumable,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I
So
can sell, right?
exactly. So the person who cares about the art, they they'll always be. You can't take the money, like you just can't. So
Their own sense of self importance.
the people who actually care about the things, like in the matters that that exist today, they can't take the money. They won't allow themselves to.
Well, my question is, what's the ask? So, in any negotiation, if you have a problem or you bring some type of grievance up, something you don't like, something you want to change, there has to be an ask. What's the ask?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Like what? That's the only question people have to think about is when you complain. Is when you complain or you won't change. Is what's the ask? Because you can't just complain to somebody and say, you this, this is how it's been, this is the history of this, you suck, da, 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 da. And the person looking like, all right, I don't believe that, but what you want me to do? What you want me to do about that? And then I think most people get caught up in not having an ask, a clear ask. So I think a lot of those times, the people on the other side don't care that you're
Yeah.
complaining. So if money is going to be helpful, because they're not interested in they're not interested in the history. They're interested in why you're mad. You're just like, how can I make this stop? I'm not interested in starting a fund or this or that or being involved for 20, 30
Hmm.
years, 50 years and getting my next generations involved. Because that's how long real change takes. It takes generations and generations.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you're looking at somebody, a corporation, and they're like, I got a business to run. I got profits to make.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? 50 million. All right, I'll give you 30. So
No, I mean
you're
because
basically you're
that
basically gonna
changes.
you're basically gonna miss your window of what you're asking for. You're gonna miss the moment, and then it's gonna be nothing again. And I'm a big proponent of give me the money, because I know you don't. I know you don't care about the cause. You don't care about the change. Give me the money, and then put it in the right positions to act your own change on whatever scale that you feel necessary. And I think the smallest scales are important. Of um, you send, I don't know, you send 10 kids to I don't want to say college, but some type of training or whatever
Maybe
to
some kind of camp or something, like
some type
engineering
of
camp or
something
something.
that literally
Yeah.
changes those 10 kids' lives. I'm like, that's cool. Um,
Yeah, but
So
that's
on whatever
see,
scale.
which what you're saying. What you're saying is like, well, we're saying the same thing, but what you're saying is the most important part, right? And it goes back to the original, like the original statement of once people get the money, like things change because you could probably send 5 or 10 kids to a camp in your neighborhood right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like collectively, people in the neighborhood could get together and send their children together.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
if you really care.
you could do that if you actually cared. But then they'll say, "Oh, well, no. Why don't they have this for these kids? Why don't they do
Hmm.
this for these are your children?"
Why they? That catches you up too. That catches you up too. Why won't they? And the answer is they don't care. They don't care about. They
Why
don't care
would they
about
care?
people.
The
They don't care
kids
about
are
people.
yours. Even
They don't care
people
about
who have
people.
kids don't care about their kids. Why would they care about your kids?
You stupid.
It's the truth.
It's so interesting. We oftentimes we speak for the lower denomination of people, and I know it's easy to have that seep in and be like, I know this ain't shit person. They don't do this. And maybe we need to elevate the people that's around and the people
No,
on the
we just
internet.
gotta be better.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us already are like a lot of us already are good enough to do the things that we say we need or at least begin to create the things that we say we need in our communities, in our neighborhoods, socially, etc. Many of us are capable. We just have to be better. And it's hard to tell somebody to be better when they feel like I'm already doing enough. And I feel like too many people feel like they're doing enough, and not enough people feel like they need to be better.
Mm. Yeah.
Like
Being better
if
is hard.
I'm looking at the field, right? If looking at the field, and everybody's life is different, there's reasons why. I'm not saying it's just as simple as flipping a switch, but
Mm.
um, but it is something you kind of have to like internalize. Like, okay, all of these things that we say we want, or that I can see that we need, because it can start with you.
So let
You
me
know.
take that too, because I'm very plain and basic, and I'm very taking it to the simplest forms of
Mm-hmm.
everything. When you talk about being better, I think people think of better as this widely better. Like I need to make millions of
Yeah.
dollars, and then
Okay.
I can give $1 million away,
Yeah.
right? I think being better is you talk about our neighborhoods. Like pick up the trash on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw trash on the ground. Throw it in the trash can. Pull up some weeds. Like uh, there's a there's a black farmer. He's a gardener, but I don't know. I can't remember where he's from. I think it might be Compton or Inglewood. Um, I can't remember his name right now, but he basically started making plants. He started planting in um, the sidewalks of the street. But you know how you go to a sidewalk and it's just dirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a planter, but it's dirt. And he basically started working the soil and planting things there. And the city was like, "Yeah, you can't do that." It's like, well, you didn't spend any money on beautification in my city, in my neighborhood. You could have put
Mm-hmm.
plants there and watered them, but you didn't. So now I'm putting food there, and I'm giving the food away to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like one example. Somebody's like, that dirt plot that's right in front of my yard, I'm gonna put some plants in it.
Yeah,
You
we're gonna
know?
make that some strawberries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
that type of better. Like, you know what? I'm gonna pick up the trash in front of my house and two doors down and across the street, which is what I started doing in my neighborhood during the pandemic. Like, yo, why don't somebody pick up this trash? Oh, I'm somebody. you know, I'm somebody.
Somebody is me.
So I remember
Yes.
doing that. I haven't done it in a while, but so I did like I would do it like every week basically. So I take the trash out, and then I would pick up the trash in front of my house, the neighbor's house on the right side, left side, and across the street. And I did that for a few weeks, and then one day I found $5 on the ground, and I was like, "Look at God!"
Was it under some trash?
It was trash. It was literal
That's
trash.
crazy.
It was on
Wow.
the ground, like between the gate or whatever, where the places I usually clean up. I'm like, dang, this is like the universe. Like, here you go. Um, good. I didn't need that, but it's like I was doing it anyway.
Yeah,
So, in
exactly.
other words, when you start doing something anyway, like there's some type of gain that's gonna happen, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what. Like once you start moving things, and like you said, being better, even on the small scales, like something happens. And I use the monetary example because that's how people think. It's like if I do this, I get paid this much money.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're so used to equating doing good with getting money, and sometimes it's not money. Sometimes it's something else, something
Most
better than
times it's
money.
not money.
You know,
Like it coming from someone who professionally is like our payment, our compensation is performance based.
right?
So you do a lot of good stuff for free.
Yeah, all the time.
You know what I'm saying? Like so, maybe that's why it's like it's easier to like digest that and understand it from that perspective because like I do this anyway. But
Yeah, and it's also helpful um, in in our profession. When you have a sales profession and you have a sales cycle, right? Reaching out to people, meeting with people, signing a contract, selling. It's a cycle to that cycle, right? So that cycle might be from day one to day 90.
hmm
Right? So it could be a long sales cycle. So that's between you starting saying, I'm going to be better. And then the actual efforts don't happen 90 days later. Who's willing to really do that? Not many people are willing really to wait for that cycle, for that gratification to come after from day one to day 90.
hmm
So just going back to picking up trash, or the gratification is almost instant. It is instant. There's trash here. I put the trash in the trash bag. Now there's no trash there. Now you have from day one to the same day, you can have the gratification of you did something. Something moved, right? Something happened. Where in the sales cycle,
hmm
something doesn't happen for maybe to 1 to 90 days. It's like when somebody goes to work every day, to an actual 9 to 5 job, and you get paid hourly. You went there for 8 hours, you got paid X amount an hour. You did something for that day, and you got paid for that day. When
hmm
you're in sales or commission, that doesn't happen like that. So as much as you hate your job, the gratification that you went to the job and you got paid for the job is needed in your everyday life.
hmm
So stuff like that for me is like that's cool. That's probably why I'm into other stuff like simple stuff like gardening, right? If you're looking at a plot of land, you pick up all the weeds, and you clear those weeds for that day. You did something for that day. You can literally see that there used to be weeds here. Now there's no weeds here. It's instant gratification that that I definitely I like, and I think we all need that. So in terms of being better, pick up the trash in the neighborhood, pick up some
That's
weeds.
the
We can have
start.
instant gratification in doing those things, and then it's not they should, you know.
Not now that we're saying this out loud, I realize how insane it sounds to work for free until you get paid. Think about it,
Right, right.
think like really just like I'm doing all of this for free, like with the
Yeah.
hopes of like, oh yeah, maybe
Well,
in 4 months I'll get paid.
well, you're doing it without immediate gratification. Like that's what we're doing. You're doing something that's not immediately gratifying.
Yeah, you're like on a net 180, like
Yeah. All right. Well, I just learned what that
yeah,
was. Where people
on a
get
net
paid like
15.
180 days after they actually did the work.
hmm
Um,
And sometimes you don't get paid.
yeah.
Like I used to go walk Miss Johnson around the block.
Mm-hmm.
Like every Tuesday, I would like if I
Right.
called her and they were here, like she was on her walk, I'd go walk her around the block.
Mm-hmm. That's a client. To let the client or
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
listeners know.
I low key forgot we was on the podcast, but
uh,
yeah, that was a client of mine, a potential client of mine, because we haven't, I don't think, no, we haven't done anything yet. Um, but yeah, yeah,
yeah. So
and she,
like to make
man,
sure the
have you
listeners are
talked to
like,
her?
dang, they got a rock roller named Miss Johnson. That's cool. You walking around the block.
Have you talked to her recently?
No, I reached out maybe a few months ago. See,
Mm.
that's one of the people in my phone I need to call. Not gonna be like, yo, do you need to stay in this phone?
Yeah, I just, she's great and everything.
what, what was that? Are you obligated?
It's
It sounds like
it's a lot. She's just a lot. But she's really they're good people. Her husband's like really cool,
yeah.
super cool dude.
No, yeah, they are good people.
You know, it's just it's a lot. But yeah, so yeah, man, all of that we gotta be better. And do you think, even though like, because right now I feel like money. I feel like our generation, as much as our generation hates capitalism, they care about money the most, like during this time. And do you think that is like healthy? Like to where your everyday focus is either on the pursuit or the like hatred of money?
Um,
Because I don't remember. Do you remember like your parents being that way?
I remember money always being like yeah, like a key thing that you like that was needed. And I never remember hurting for anything, but I remember like showing like they show like they do like some accounting at home. Like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
this was coming in, this is what's going out. Um, you know, we ain't got money for no Nikes, or whatever it was, Um, but I think it's at the center of so many lives because it's just people don't have enough. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, people just don't have enough. When you figure you to not be rent burdened, it was supposed to be like 30 to 33% of your total income supposed to go to rent, and now we're beyond 50% of someone's
Yeah,
total
it's
paycheck going to rent.
in some places it's probably around like 60 or 70.
Yeah, and it's like that's wild. So money has to be the everyday conversation, and I think that's why you get these hustle cultures and yeah, have a side hustle and have do this and do that. And there's some feedback.
Yeah, for some reason my headphone just went out. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, do you think it's like all that is true? I agree with it, but you know how people like. I feel like our parents are better at ignoring things that like just like they just weren't good for them, and maybe because, well, I won't say maybe. I know it's because they didn't have the internet
There you go.
to
That's
where
what
it's
the
it's
platform. They had the
it's in
parents
your
had a
face,
platform you can
you
play.
know, or just the platform to get slapped in the face with how poor you are every day. Um,
Yeah. It was literally keeping up with the Joneses was like the most. It was like really people around you,
yeah,
and in terms of proximity of the people around you, they're not going to be much more wealthier than you. You're not going to be yacht wealthy. You're not going to talk to your neighbor across the street and like, he was in the Bahamas on a yacht, and he spent 50,000 on his vacation. Like that's unlikely. It's more so, um, I don't know, I guess like a small pecking order of they went to go buy a $50,000 car. Ours is 55. It's like it's more smaller. Now it's
I
like
mean,
you
I
can
don't
look at the
even know if
whole
it was
world.
that. I don't even know if it was that then. Like 50, like was that?
No, well, I'm just using today's numbers,
Oh,
but
yeah.
Um, but it's more of that keeping up with the Joneses than keeping up with the internet. Keeping up with the internet is a new thing. Like we can't keep up with the internet. You thought the Joneses was bad. The internet is the internet will win
The
every time.
internet's the internet's keeping up with
The
the
internet
internet's.
will win every time.
Um, because there's a lot of things I see where I get like I'm actually kind of scared for some people because and it could just be like from experience, just from what we had to go through in 2008. And of course, anytime you go through something, you don't want anyone else to have to experience that feeling. Even though what we
Mm-hmm.
went through wasn't like, our version of it wasn't like super extreme. We were able to to still make it out of it. But
Mm-hmm.
we were still close enough to know for other people it was extreme.
Mm-hmm.
It was really extreme for some people. Um, and now I'm looking at things like like the other day when you were on Facebook, and I think somebody commented something about an LLC or something or an EIN number,
Right. Right.
and you commented like which is the great thing to say and I say the same thing, like you should seek legal counsel to figure out what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like they just completely blew over your comment, and then underneath that you know it was
Yeah. So.
it was like my earphones keep checking out, but
Yeah.
it was like just tens of comments, about business credit and just get you an LLC and blah blah, blah. And
Mm-hmm.
they don't even know what this person is doing.
Yeah. So just to lay some groundwork, it was somebody posted on Facebook. Should I get a LLC and an EIN number to start my business? And so you see that, and I'm just like, I think my comment is like, you should probably just I said if it was me, I'll start with that. If it's me, I'm going to just file EIN number and a doing business as, and then you can build your business from there, and then seek legal counsel to see if you need to incorporate because you may not incorporate under LLC. You might be an S corp, a C corp. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing and the risk involved and the order, the corporate order you want. So that's why I seek legal counsel. But if you're, you know, I don't know, if you're selling cake pops at your house and you just want to file a name and you kind of want to get off the ground, I don't think it's a reason to file an LLC. Especially in California, you're going to pay like $800 a year if you make no money or not. And a lot of businesses in the first years make zero money, so now you're paying out $800 minimum
Yep.
plus your efforts and whatever money that was
Mm-hmm.
to build a business, and now you're already in the red where something was supposed to make you some side money. But anyway, yeah, I think the comments after that was like, yeah, you need to get an LLC and you need to do this and this and this, and I don't know, without knowing what the full scope is. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't ask a lot of questions, and I didn't want to get into the question like, "What are you doing?" Because I'm not the legal professional. Like,
Yeah,
that's not my
because
role
that's
to
not what
do.
you do. Yeah,
But I'm saying if it was me, this is what I would do.
I tell
But
people
you need
that
to go talk
all
to
the
somebody.
time.
You know.
All the time, they'll be like, "Oh, can I just go on LegalZoom or can I just blah blah blah?" And I tell them every single time. I tell them like, if this is your first time doing something like this, it pays to go talk to a legal professional
Right. Yeah.
because you might not even need that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
But
then
that's
after
the
you go
culture
through it
now.
once or twice, after you do it once or twice, then you can go ahead and legal zoom it up, or even for our filings, I did those, but
Mm-hmm.
that's because I've done it before, and
Right.
I had to speak to a legal professional after I did the legal zoom thing and realized I did it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's just like I get nervous seeing stuff like that, or even like during the pandemic, one of the a big thing that lasted a long time, but unfortunately we were in between seasons. But like, you remember that conversation about like Jay-Z or 500,000,
500,000, please. Like going on what it was a
like having
lunch
dinner with him.
meeting, having lunch meeting,
Yeah,
dinner. Yeah, and then a lot of people were like taking the money, like taking the sit down with Jay Z or
yeah.
dinner or whatever, rather than 500,000. Was it more? I feel like it was more than that.
No, it was 500K. It was
500.
500,000. Yeah. Yep.
Well,
Because the
I
guy the
already said
guy
I'm a
who
big component of taking proponent of actually taking the money. Um, I mean, I've had dinner with a lot of people, and it didn't net any monies. Um, and when you get in front of people, I don't think people realize this either. Really, when you get in front of people who are already doing the business, you're not there to ask how to do it. You're to confirm that you're on the right track to doing what you need to do. So it's more like a this is what I'm doing. Uh, kind of like not a what do you think about it, but when you ask somebody in business, uh, the question you want to come with research you already did or um, a process you already have going, and then you want to ask the question, how can I? You might want to say, how can I scale? What could I do
how can
better?
I
That
can
type of
improve
thing.
this? Yeah.
But for the everyday person who has no business, no nothing, uh, starting from zero, and like I'm gonna have lunch with Jay Z, and then I'll figure it all out. It's like this person has nothing to talk to you about because you're so green about everything that you're gonna chew your food and you're gonna go home. That's the entirety of the dinner because you literally can't communicate with this person.
Nah, he's it's a different level.
So
I think even
you
like
taking the money or you sitting
I
with
think
Jay to
even one of his
have some dinner.
man, no, I'm definitely. What are you gonna do? Tell me to sell crack? Because that's what he did.
Stupid.
Jay don't become Jay if you don't sell crack.
All right.
So it's like, okay, well, that's the secret. Sell crack.
Yeah. Start from the beginning, which is a
um,
lot of people's beginning.
yeah. So I mean, it's it just seems. I think
You
that
talk
goes
about
back to like
repercussions.
what we talked about last week, like the effects of like the long term effects of poverty is that people think solutions, especially when they're tied to like money, they think it has to be some kind of like secret answer or secret formula or you know what I mean. Like so,
Mm-hmm.
if I sit with Jay, he'll give me the secret money box, the
Right.
key to the secret money box, and then I'll have money forever. Like
It's
there's no
just
secret.
it's so weird. It's so weird to for the thought process to not go to the source. I mean, and that's not my industry, like the music industry, or but I know there's several books and content on the music industry and how you get paid and how deals are structured. I know they exist. I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
So why you wouldn't just do that first? You probably literally know more if you actually read up on it than the people who actually are in the business.
Oh, of course,
So
of
why is that not a
course.
thought to be like, if I want to know something about this business, I'll read books about this business.
because the element
It sounds
with
so elementary, but
with
maybe
music
that's just how I am.
with music is different because there's an element of celebrity involved.
Mm-hmm.
So the element of celebrity outweighs everything, right? Because the value of that is, at least in the eye of the person who's pursuing it, the value of that is greater than actually taking the time to learn the business.
The value in being next to them
No,
and like having a photo op or
in being a celebrity or being because these people. Yeah, I think also people don't understand. As we say all the time, a lot of people don't understand how money works, right? So they're looking at it. Jay's not even really known as a businessman in music.
mm-hmm.
He's known as a businessman outside of the industry. His biggest wins come outside of music.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to sit down with him, I wouldn't expect you to talk about music.
I could just see somebody with a full PowerPoint at dinner going to, going through their full
With the iPad.
Yeah, a
And
full
like this, how we get the.
presentation,
All you gotta
perspectives.
do is I get the business credit, and then we put it on
Yeah.
Turo, and then you get sprinkle some Bitcoin in
Right.
there, and
Is that right? Would that work, Jay? He like, ha, ha.
um, but yeah, I think that's what it all. Again, they people think like people really really believe, or they want to believe, just from my experience. Many people want to believe there is some like secret, formula or secret way to get to that point. Like they really believe you don't get there unless you learn something, you know, some type of mystical,
The
you know,
Illuminati,
yeah.
Illuminati language.
And people really believe that. So the value of sitting down with him is directly tied to that, because there's nothing he can tell you that'll make you 500 grand that day.
Yeah. Give me the money. I'm taking the money. I'm taking the money.
Like there's just nothing he can you can I don't know. What do like what I don't know. You don't even know him. Like so I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, I'm for sure taking the money.
This is why I feel like the pandemic really broke everything. Like cuz so in the mornings a lot of times, especially on Mondays, I do a lot of my research, and I'll do like there's certain podcasts that come out and shows that come out like at the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll wait until Monday to listen to them, because really it doesn't matter if I hear it on Friday. I can't do anything about it till Monday anyway.
Right.
Um, and one of them that I watch, listening to it today, like there was a guy on there, and he made a lot of sense in regards to like how to view markets and like the current economy. And super smart guy, like just really really smart. Forgot his name, but I'll go back and get it. But super smart. And the reason why I say super smart is because I feel like we're always looking at data sets. Basically, that's all we do is look at data, different sets of data. And then there's always like that one person that comes in and like reconnects you to the data that you should be looking at.
Mm.
Because we're always trying to find like, oh, this is happening, oh, this is happening, this is gonna happen, oh, this is showing us this, and blah blah blah. And then somebody comes in and is like, no, hold on, just watch this one thing. And like
Yeah.
his whole time on that show was basically that. Like, these guys were going on about the economy and how they feel about where we are currently,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of explained certain things, especially when it came down to like election cycles and stuff like that, like the importance they play on the state of the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just really simple.
I think I've seen part of that clip.
Yeah, it was like
Um,
really really simple. But
yeah,
he one
learn
thing he did say
learning.
though is I do think markets are broken. I think everything's broken.
What is
That's
that?
why I brought that up.
Oh,
Um, I don't know. I just feel like everything is different because I feel like so going back to COVID, we didn't really need liquidity. So liquidity means the government is buying bonds, right?
mm-hmm.
And I saw a chart that showed like the Fed funds rate, like over the last like 15 years or something like that, or it might have been 20. But there was like a 5-year period where it was like flat. And if you like compare that to what our economy was doing in those times, it was like massive speculation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's where it came from. Like low interest rate environments. So from that period, you get Bitcoin, you get highly overvalued tech stocks and all these different things. And it's like, did we really need to do that?
Well, I think that's directly tied to the risk people are willing to take in a low interest rate environment. Um, and when we talk about this, when money is free flowing, you feel compelled to take some of it, and and try your hand at uh, making more money, or
Mm-hmm.
making a higher percentage
Over
on the
your shoe
actual money
nice.
it's going to cost you, right? All in the
Mm-hmm.
mic. Um, but I think being able to translate the data is like a real superpower, and but I think sometimes you can get caught up in listening to how other people are translating the data over and over, and that becomes like your
Mm-hmm.
narrative, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't see too many people, and I kind of see what you might be getting at. This person has a different narrative on how the data is translating to him. It makes you think differently because
Mm-hmm.
we're always getting how somebody else translated the data and what it means. And then somebody says, well, we're not considering, um, X, Y, and Z. It's like the whole thing now, how people translating the data in terms of um, just say property values. They're saying property values are continuing to go up, but the amount of buyers are going down. The amount of units sold is going down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're kind of like, but inventory is short. And I translate that to this: if if people are selling less in a high interest rate, uh, high price market, they're not selling because if they sold their property, what are they buying into? They're buying into a higher interest rate and a higher home. Why would they do that? Where can you go? So when you say things are broken, that process of selling your house, making a profit, and going into a reasonable um, interest rate, you're going to pay a little bit more money, but it's not going to be outrageous. So
Mm-hmm.
why would I give up my 2-3% interest rate to get, 5-6, and borrow more money and buy a more expensive house? Especially if you're
Because
talking about like,
you're giving people a lot of credit right now.
what you mean?
Because you're what you're saying is right. You are correct. But you're giving people a lot of credit in a way that they make decisions that make sense.
Yeah. It's just, but yeah, I am always try to give.
Because
No
that was
doubt.
the case. That was the case in 2006, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah,
You know,
but yeah,
and
it's just interesting.
back then the rates were kind of what they are now. They're well, not
Yeah,
now, but they're similar. Like
yeah,
we're a
it's still
couple
low.
points off.
Like we're
Yeah,
still in a low
we're a
interest rate
couple points
environment. It's
off.
still a good time to buy real estate. It's
Um,
always a good time to buy and sell real estate.
yeah, I mean, you always got to be
That's a message
like.
from your real estate professional.
I heard something today. I heard something today that makes a lot of sense, and and I've tried to say something like this, but he said it like a lot better. So I'm gonna steal it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he said, he said basically like always, always in the market is better than trying to time the market. So you just gotta buy you just gotta buy what's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing where that gets like murky is when speculation comes into play, right? And like speculation outweighs like true demand. That's when things get kind of murky, and we got 40%, uh, 40% appreciation year over year in home prices.
Yeah, man,
Like
it's just
that's not all demand. Like a lot of that is speculation. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for 40% appreciation.
like it's not
Like,
needed.
no, like that's a lot of that is speculation. So when you're asking like who would sell to, there's people who don't believe because I was one of them back in '08. There's a lot of people who believe this is how it works.
Yeah, it'll never. It always goes. It always runs.
Yeah. So
Uh,
even if we're in a period where this lasts for say 4 years, say we get 4 more years of like consistent like 7, 10, or just double digit
how
growth.
many year will we be? How many years has it been now since the upturn? It's been. Let's just say
It
we
probably
came out of
started
the
around
2000.
2012.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 2011.
That was the first
So
year I
that's
remember where it was like, okay, I could like things are moving.
yeah. So let's just say it's been 10 or 12 years.
10 years.
Okay. I mean, okay. So typical cycle used to be like 8 to 10 years. Just some people count to like 2008, 2009. I don't count back that far.
Yeah, but that's when it broke. That's
Yeah.
when
So I mean,
that's when
we
shit fell
still in a
apart.
reasonable 10 year cycle. Um, yeah.
I mean, I'm not
I
gonna
can't
say
speculate.
I'm not gonna say that things will fall apart. I think there was a lot of things which, again, we talked about last season and recently saw in a clip, but there were a lot of things that were just in the way because mathematically that's how things work,
Hmm.
right? The math doesn't lie. If you qualify for $5,000 a month in mortgage, your $5,000 a month mortgage is more expensive today, so you qualify for less. That's
Hmm.
just math, and we knew
Hmm.
that was going to happen. Um, but I also seen a poll that said like 84% of Gen Zers want a market crash.
Uh, why?
Why else? You know, they
They can
feel like
benefit.
yeah, so
Catastrophe.
they
Catastrophe
can
capitalism.
they can go ahead and get the chance to own a home or whatever they feel like.
Now, see, that's not very liberal of people. That's not caring about people.
But that's what I'm saying. See, when anytime it's something like that, then we care about home pricing being unaffordable. We need to do something about it. People shouldn't be able to make this much money when it comes to housing or whatever.
So
And
I'm a huge proponent of affordable housing. I think we do need that.
mm,
I don't think that comes at the risk of people of a crash for other people. Um, and the people who are first time buyers, they won't benefit from that crash anyway. Generally, they just won't. Um, because I mean, news flash, like people have a lot more money than you still, even in a crash. So
exactly.
what's going to happen is people who have the money still, who made the money in the pandemic, who made the money because that's what they do. They make money. They're gonna just swoop up and just buy everything. It's gonna just be on sale for them. And if you think you're dealing with cash offers now and getting outbidded, like wait till like the corporate overlords come and buy everything all cash
And well, because
because they need
there is
somewhere
no
to put the
credit.
money.
Yeah,
They
but
need
that
somewhere, and that's
in
another
in
point too.
in that environment there is no credit. And the only that's the only thing that I feel like in the position that we're in right now. I won't say the only, but it's the main thing that I would say is like a potential catalyst to where you know I don't even want to call it a crash because if things go back 30%, which I believe they will, I think we got 30% to go before things normalize.
Somewhat
But
up or down.
30% down. But
Mm-hmm.
30% down when we've got in many markets 120% appreciation year over year. That's
Mm-hmm.
still not like is that really a big deal?
Yeah,
That's
you're back in
some
'90.
people like some people overpaid that on their property. So
Right, right.
30% coming down isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, they can eat that.
Yeah.
Um, just going back to corporations that's going to really benefit off a crash like that. I say they're going to benefit because they're doing it now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a city in Texas, I believe. I can't remember the city, but the developer built, uh, I think, 100 homes or something like that, and all 100 homes was sold to a corporation to be rented, to be leased.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we're seeing more and more of that lately. So another metric they're talking about builders are, I think it was like 12% down in building. Um, for one, in the last 10 years, they underbuilt on purpose because they were scared of losing money from the last downturn. And
Mm-hmm.
now you have builders who can build, um, a full track and sell it, all of them, to an investor to lease. Um, I believe that that will continue.
Mm-hmm.
Why would someone need to deal with, let's say, 100 different individual loans? They can just for sure sell all their inventory in one swoop,
Yeah.
and just lease them out. And people will lease them out because they like new shiny things. They'll
Drew
pay
actually,
four
Drew did a deal
thousand or
like
whatever it
that.
is.
He did a deal like that. Maybe like 2018, and it was in Texas, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like a older guy who owned like 150 acres or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and he built out he built out a bunch of townhomes.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like townhomes, and then he had already had like a street of homes for like his family. So he built around that. He built townhomes. He built a school. He built all the retail and everything, and he sold everything like together.
Yeah. Yep. Sold the whole portfolio. It's just,
Yep.
I think we're going to see more of that. And if there's a crash, a downturn, um, but most people aren't going to benefit from that. I mean, you might pick up a crumb. Maybe the savviest of people might pick up a
If
few
you don't
few
if
units,
you don't
but
have the money, it's going to be difficult
no, generally no.
because the credit won't be available like that. Like we already have so there's a couple more like interest rate hikes on the table. That's number one. Number two, uh, next month they'll begin quantitative tightening. So just like quantitative easing, meaning like they're printing money and providing liquidity, buying bonds and all that. Next month they're gonna. This is what they say. Next month they're gonna really like. They're not gonna renew those purchases.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gonna be a lot of liquidity that's no longer in the market,
Shit.
right? And to the average person, it may not understand. Like, you know, it doesn't seem like it mean anything, but um, if nobody is buying, which has happened in many cases over the past months, these mortgage bonds have gone no bid.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no buyers for these bonds outside of the government who is creating them, right? Um, so for me, that's like the one thing. Just looking through all the data, that's like the one thing that I feel like could really be like a catalyst to lead to something. But I also
Mm-hmm.
feel like many of these companies and even a lot of the consumers, like I feel like a lot of the balance sheets are just really strong. So sure, the markets might take a turn. We might we might get discounts in the real estate market. Um, it's natural in the stock market, just given everything else that's going on. But and people may not be able to get loans the same way. But I still think they'll be better off than they were like in '08.
Yeah.
And that, like worst case scenario, I think you'd still be better off. You probably still have a job, right?
Yeah, they're giving
Um,
jobs away now. I mean, they
yeah.
can't keep anybody
And I could be
employed.
wrong. I could be wrong. I mean, we're just speculating at this point, but I'm just going based on like the data that exists. You know what I mean? Um, but like those are the two things. So I'm looking at that, and next month will kind of give you insight into that because the last two times they've done that recently, like markets have gone crazy. I think the last time was like 2018, but there was some stuff going on then with fiscal policy. We don't got to get into that, because that was who the president was, and there was tariffs on certain goods. They didn't understand how that would like impact the economy. Um, but those are the two things. So if we get past that, and then if we have a decent March next year, because we'll be out of the midterm cycle. That's what's coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like once they remove that element, the political element, I feel like we'll have a better understanding of where we could be going. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep. It's all speculation right
it
now.
is at the end of the day. But ultimately, I think frugality will take over.
Talking about for the people.
Just in general, I think balance sheets will matter more. Um, I think fundamentals will matter more, like for everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, because we have a lot of time reflecting when there's no money coming in. It's like, hold on. Do I really need 3 cars? Do I really need this vacation house?
Because we got the whole inflation reduction thing that they just threw out. Um,
Yeah, I
these
still have to go
companies
through it
will
too.
these companies will have to pay a 1% tax on buybacks, and so the lowest hanging fruit would be they're going to do a bunch of buybacks before the end of the year.
I just wonder where the money is going to be allocated after you tax everyone,
It's going to go to Joe Biden's pocket.
and how do I
I'm
get in
just playing.
there?
I'm just playing. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. I do not believe that.
You gonna get us you gonna get us
Yeah,
a
we already
bandit,
couldn't promote. We couldn't promote our last post because you
right?
said it's well. We
Did I
both
just
said
see
his name.
a small bonnet walk by?
Yeah, she's crawling on the floor.
uh,
Um, we are live. Excuse me.
I thought that was a baby girl with a little
Nah,
bonnet just walking by.
she's at school.
Okay.
We are live. I said that like live doesn't mean come and say it. Like, it doesn't mean
We are running a production around here.
it doesn't mean like
Do you
further
see the light?
interrupt
Do
the
you see the light?
production.
The light is on. We are like one of them live lights. We are live.
I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna get a neon one. You're right. We do need
We
that.
are
Let me do
running
that.
a professional
I'm
show
gonna add
here.
that. I'm gonna add that to the list. But yeah, I think coming down towards the end of the year, like buybacks will happen a lot,
Hmm.
and so it's gonna manipulate a lot of people's portfolios.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get her. Um, because they'll see values going up,
Hmm.
and then they'll think like, oh well, maybe we're in maybe the market is in a bull market, or maybe whatever. But the reality is they're just trying to get ahead of a 1% tax.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, by Q2 next year, man, I think we'll really know like what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Um,
So for now, just keep stacking your money, keep buying that
until then,
Bitcoin.
I'll keep I keep making these calls, keep making these cold calls, and it's one thing I did in the last downturn is I just didn't pivot fast enough to
Hmm.
where the money resides, as they say.
You gotta
Uh,
stay in the market. Okay, all right, hold on.
okay, you acting like you had a cookout.
You just gotta stay in the market. Yeah, just stay in the market. Stay in the
Yeah,
market and keep just keep hammering.
keep trying, keep
Yeah,
trying, keep trying.
and because there's people like I noticed like a lot of people who were around back then who were like still in real estate that we knew they just pushed through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep,
think
yep.
I think for us, like you said, we pivoted to, which was cool because we got to experience a lot. But we pivoted, so many pivots, um, until we ended up back where we were supposed to be.
Yeah, it was
did, a
late.
full,
Should have pivoted
did like a full 360
within the
pivot.
same industry for sure. Short sales. Should have got on that boat quickly. Um, yeah, but in hindsight, yeah. So you got to find that market. You got to find that market that's still transacting. Finding deals is still out. They still exist. They still out there. But burying your head in the sand and just waiting it out is not the way. That's not the way. That's not the way. It's not gonna work.
Hmm.
So yeah. So we didn't do an intro on this. It's probably about time to wrap it up though.
Man, we are the intro. So,
We are the intro.
nah, yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. I mean, outside, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think. Did you know? Oh no, I saw something. Okay, I saw something, and it's real quick. But did you know? Because this blew me away. That 60%, 66%, or up to 66% of all streaming revenue comes from like an artist catalog. So like if you're
Um,
an artist and you have music like available to stream, 66% of the revenue from that comes from like old catalog.
like their old songs,
Yeah.
the old hits.
So like nobody's really listening to like new catalog or new music.
Mm. I get that. I
That
mean,
tripped me out.
it was that'd be 44%, right?
Yeah,
People listening to
but
new
I mean
music.
it's still more than that's more than half, and I think that number will grow.
Hmm.
You know what I
Well, when
mean?
it comes to music, you kind of listen to the same things you like over and over. You know,
Yeah.
something that's familiar. You know, especially if you're an older person. Like you don't want to hear Pay the Bill's new album. You know, give me the hits.
Patty got
Well, I tell your mom said Patty got a new album.
man,
How do I
never.
how do
That's
I
what I
get
was
it?
saying. I've never heard those words. I've never heard the words of "Did you hear so and so's new album?" It's always like
Yeah,
put on that, so and
yeah,
so,
yeah.
but it's never like put on their new album.
You kind of
That's
tapping into
crazy.
like the
Like
feelings
I
you
went
had when it
to
first came out.
I went to a Charlie Wilson uh concert a long time ago, and he started singing songs that nobody knew. He's like, "Yeah, this is from
Mm.
my new album," and everybody was like, "We didn't come for that.
I didn't sign up for that.
We didn't come for that, man." Seen the Gap Band, like,
Right. It's only a
dang,
few
that's
people
right.
who can do that. Only a few people who can do that.
I think that
And stay
provides great
relevant.
leverage, though. I think that provides great leverage for artists, cause I also feel like we live in a time where like albums don't like the timeline of albums or the timeline of like content doesn't really exist no more. So you can go
You
back and
like
shoot
wait
a
until
video.
Thursday or Friday or whatever
Yeah, but
for it to come out.
yeah, but you can go and shoot a video to an album you did 20 years ago.
Mm.
Like why not? Because it's still available. Like we're not
Interesting.
going in the
Yeah, yeah.
store.
Never thought about
You
that.
know what I mean? Like we're not going in the store to buy CDs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not like the label can control. Well, they can, but
Yeah.
if you can go out and shoot your own videos, it's like because think about all the songs you liked from different albums,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
Like,
man, I wish
give
this
me a
song had a
2020
video.
video. Yeah,
Yeah,
2022 video.
that never got a video, or singles that never got a video because of whatever
Yeah,
reason.
that's a good marketing tactic. I mean, you should consult for the music industry. Like you should be doing this.
I should consult for a lot of people.
I think that's a great idea. Start releasing your old stuff as
I
new.
mean,
A lot of people
why
haven't
not?
heard it.
Or
What
they
a,
just they've never seen the visual. You know
you
what I
know
mean? Like
what
not just the
what
song,
old
but the
footage do
visual.
we have? Let me break out some old computers.
But yeah, but seeing that, man, it that caught my attention. And then of course the whole Bed Bath and Beyond thing that happened this week.
I
Uh,
just
s-
yeah, I seen part of that.
yeah, similar to GameStop. But the funny thing about that is the CEO now owns 0% of the company.
He sold it off. He said, "I'm out." He said, "It's going up. I'm going up too. I'm going up. I can sell too."
I forgot his name, but they were like praising him and the way he was running the company, and then like the report came out and he owned 0%.
He said, "This is my time to get out.
Yeah.
I ain't going down with this ship."
So yeah, I think we're okay. Anything else you want to throw in there?
No, I think it was good to have a quick huddle. We had a cookout over the weekend um, with the core group, and we talked about doing more things and um, getting out in real life more. So yeah, so we're going on tour pretty soon. Um, the Rich by Monday tour.
I mean, we do have studios in about 14 states.
Yeah,
That's a reality.
yeah. So it's time to utilize them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so we going on tour. Right,
All right,
probably
we're going on tour.
um, once a month.
That's a lot. that's that's a lot. Like
You
we
ain't trying to go on
gotta.
tour. You ain't trying to go on tour.
I'm, I'm honestly, I'm really not. I'm really not.
Like I said, we going on tour. We're like, yeah, we're going on tour. We're going on tour once a month. I don't want to go on tour. I don't want to go on tour no more. This
Really
tour thing
not.
ain't
Like,
it
I
ain't great.
mean, it's gonna be
All right.
cool, but like, I'm gonna be gone, and I gotta get on planes and stuff. Like, nah, I'm cool, man.
Well,
Um,
this just in. We're going to be sedentary for the
mm,
next few months. We'll be here, uh,
yeah. So,
raising money for a new light. So go to richbymoney.com and pick up your merch.
yeah,
And
that, and the sweaters. So the next order of sweaters will be in soon. I just got the tracking information the other
and
day.
we pulling up on people. We pulling up on people. We want a picture, a selfie with you
Yeah,
in your gear. So if you order something, we're gonna pull up pretty soon. So be ready
yeah. So,
because you know we
yeah.
pull up.
Like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Let the algorithm know you enjoy the show. Um, we didn't do an intro, but you know who we are. I'm Jared
Yep.
Wilkins, aka the Google grad,
And I'm Dorrance Creighton.
and
Now I'm going by Creighton.
this has been another episode of Rich by Monday. Get your merch, buy hoodies, buy shirts. Kind of rhyme low key.
Now you're a rapper,
And
a
yeah,
poet. As a poet, didn't even know it.
we we'll see y'all next week.
All right, bye.